looking for tonight in Philadelphia?
Do the Cowboys take advantage of the unknown? Brian Schottenheimer, the new head coach, is going to be calling plays. He hasn't called plays in 5 years. If you're the Eagles, there's a little bit of guessing game. What are they going to be offensively? All offseason, we've heard that the Cowboys want to modernize the offense. More motions, more condensed formations, more shifts, different personnels. Take advantage of that. The Eagles don't necessarily know what you are or who you are going to be on offense. See if you can play with no huddle tempo and see if you can jump on a very good defense.
All right, so let's talk specifically about this offense. And Taylor, let's talk about the quarterback, Dak Prescott. When healthy, and you made the argument earlier, and I think it's an easy one to support. If he played for any other team, people might not nitpick everything that they do with him. Everything he does is so dissected. I think he would be better thought of if he was playing somewhere else. The last time he played a full season healthy, he was the runner-up for the MVP of the league. Does this season then, with all of the drama and trading away Micah Parsons, whatever that defense is and isn't going to be, will this season for Dallas ultimately be a referendum on just how good their quarterback is?
I think they can make it that way, but there's so many different variables that have to take place. You have to replace Zach Martin with a guard you got out of Alabama, and see if he's going to be that guy that's going to be an all-pro guy as well. Because Dak Prescott's no good to anybody if he's on his ass the entire time. So we need him to be able to facilitate the ball to George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. So could it be a referendum on him? Yes. Do I see that happening? No. I think he's going to have big yards again, once again this year, and he's going to crush it.
That's what I'm saying. Does he carry them this year? It feels like there are look, Joe Burrow last year carried maybe the worst defense in the NFL. He had that team in playoff contention to the final Sunday of the season. Is that what Dak needs to be for the Cowboys this year?
Yeah, I think he needs to have a big year. Like you talk about people dissect him, they nitpick at him, and it's because he's the highest paid player in the league. Yeah. Like Dak's he's been a guy who's been penciled into those top 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks in the league. He needs to have a performance where he inks himself in those conversations because he's getting paid as such. And Dak Prescott, if he's anything like the expectation for him in Dallas, if it's anything like my 3-year-old's first soccer practice, the expectation is high, boys.
Okay. She got mom's jeans?
We got tape.
Listen, I need a little bit more grit. She was very attentive, listened well. The effort was there, but a little too much smiling. She needs to start performing like her job depends on it.
gotta hate the opponent a little bit more. The specifics of this Cowboy offense. We know they have CeeDee Lamb, and they bring in George Pickens, who's in a contract year. So if it's ever going to happen for him, this is a player that has as much talent, as much ability as practically any receiver in the NFL. A variety of reasons why so far it hasn't come together. Do you believe it does for him and the Cowboys this year?
I do, and it would start tonight. I would throw him the football 12 times tonight. George Pickens is one of the best one-on-one receivers in the NFL. And if you're the Dallas Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb is sensational. But I can go to so many times last year where you watch the tape and you go, CeeDee's getting shaded or doubled, and they didn't really have anybody to hurt a defense doing it. Now that they do. And so George Pickens, it's a contract year. He's got one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. It's a new offense under Brian Schottenheimer. What better opportunity than to go unveil the new toy tonight and say, hey, Philadelphia, you're not going to dominate us like you all thought you would.
And we just don't know what we're going to get out of Dallas's run game. We know they're going to want to run the ball. They're going to try to run the ball, but you don't know exactly who's going to run the ball. Are they going to be counting on Javonte Williams, who they signed as a free agent from Denver? Miles Sanders, who they signed away from the Carolina Panthers? Jaden Blue, their rookie running back draft pick? Somebody's got to emerge, and I don't know if they can count on anybody yet right now, but they can count on Dak, and they can count on CeeDee, and they can count on George Pickens. And I just laughed because I just love the idea that George Pickens is headed into the last year of his contract, and his agent is the same agent as Micah Parsons' agent. So they'll be sitting down. I would hope that Jerry that time will go to the agent
David
to see if he can do a deal first.
Look, when you say they can count on George Pickens, I don't know that that's a truth. Well, I hope that they, for their sake, you hope
they can count on his talent.
There is evidence there that if you don't get him in the mix early, listen, I'm optimistic because he's in a new environment. He's in a new place. He's got some new.
He's playing for
so much on the line.
That's the number one thing. Like a guy can have all the distractions in the world and do all the antics on the sidelines, throw punches and stuff like that. But when the money is in question, I promise you, this dude is going to show up. Lunch pail in hand, is going to be just like Dan Orlovsky every single day walking into that building.
His reputation in Pittsburgh. This is what the Steelers thought of George Pickens. They thought he was the most talented wide receiver in the league. In the league. They just didn't know if he was going to be there on Sunday. If he'd be there on time, if he'd miss a meeting, they couldn't count on him. But in terms of the talent, There are not many, if any, wide receivers any more talented than George
It's
Pickens.
also the most talented quarterback he's played with. With all due respect to Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott is the most talented quarterback that Pickens has played with. He should have a career year.
Here's the thing. If I had a red flag in my hand, I would be waving it right now. Because if the Pittsburgh Steelers thought that he was the most physically gifted receiver in the entire NFL and were willing to trade him away, thank you, someone just threw Hembo just threw a red flag. If they were willing to trade that guy away, that speaks volumes. Again, I hope it works. I covered him leading up to the draft and all that stuff, so there's a lot of history here. And so some of the things that happened in Pittsburgh sort of seem to track with some of the reputational stuff he brought with him. Again, I hope he turns all of that around and has a monster year. I just don't think it is the given that you would like to think.
Two things could be true, though, Greeny.
Yeah.
Just get him going early. Get him going early.
He
just
has
feed
to
the ball.
get
Yeah,
Dory
feed the
Jackson
man.
early.
He's
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, if that happens, then I think this could be a dynamic offense, and it's going to have to be because it was already a defense that struggled, and they traded away their best player.
And to play your side of the fence as well, like no one handles culture or unique personalities better than Mike Tomlin. You saw it back in the day with AB, Roethlisberger, all of those guys, and Pouncey.
He made it work with everybody, and he gave up on this.
Right.
That to me is, and I understand they thought DK Metcalf was an upgrade. I understand all of that. I'm not writing it off.
But those two things can't be true, right? They can't be the best wide receiver they've ever seen in the NFL, and then they have an upgrade at DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, I also think for Dak Prescott, no one really cares what he does in the regular season well. We've seen when Dak Prescott plays, they win 11 or 12 games. He's a top 12 quarterback in the NFL, and they score 28 a game. No one has the vantage point of who Dak Prescott is because of that. The vantage point of who Dak Prescott is because of the playoff shortcomings. That's a reality. So whether he goes and lights it up tonight or not, he's in that grouping where the regular season is what it is. People don't care if he plays well in the regular season.
But, Dan, no one is talking about the Cowboys as a playoff team. The Cowboys, I believe, last I checked, had the fourth shortest or longest odds to make
But that's
the playoffs
not because of
in
Dak.
the entire NFC. No, it's not because of Dak, but that's my point. Is this team going to win 11 games if he's healthy all year long?
No, I think they're more of like a 10-win team, so it's not all that different. I thought they were a
Double-digit wins. That's one win.
I thought they were
11? No, I'll give them 10. I'll give them 10.
It's a generous. I'm on the side. I thought they were a fringe playoff team with Micah.
Here's the thing I see with Dak Prescott. I mean, no one's arguing that he's a good quarterback, right? When you talk about the playoffs, can he succeed in the playoffs? That's not necessarily 100% on Dak. That's on Schottenheimer as well. He's got to be able to instill situational football. We saw with the last coach. You get into 2-minute situations, you don't handle the sidelines the correct way.
Right.
You don't know when to get the field goal team on and off of the field. When you get into the playoffs, every single play matters, and you have to understand situationally what you're going to do as a team. So it's not just Dak Prescott on that. We know he's going to sling it all over the field. He's got 2 new weapons. He absolutely loves it. Hopefully that offensive line can block, but it really comes down to what are they situationally.
They are a long way from getting to the playoffs at this point. Let's see if they get through tonight in one.
It is week one.
And then the other side. We have somehow managed to come an hour and 8 minutes into this show and not really talked about Saquon Barkley, who I believe should have been the MVP.
Great point, Greeny.
Should have been the MVP of the league last year, was voted the best player in the league in a poll that I saw recently, and had one of the truly great running back seasons of all time. Jerry Jones just said last week, in his justification, if you will, of trading away Micah Parsons, well, we need to stop the run. Do you believe the Cowboys do that tonight, or does Micah Parsons does Saquon Barkley run wild all over them, Will?
I think Saquon has a lot of success. It's hard, you miss on Saquon because they have so much talent across the offense. Is Kenny Clark, is he going to be a guy that helps them stop the run? This was one of the worst run defenses in the league last year. I don't know. I personally got Saquon going for 150
tonight.
To myself, yes. So I don't think they stop the run, but with Eberflus, he's had success at turning organizations around, being somebody who's going to stop the run. They're going to stack the box. They're going to try to force Hurts to make a mistake in the air. I got him for 150.
Does he go over 100?
I'll tell you what. I love everything Will said. If we're doing prices right rules, I'll double down. I'll go 151. That's what I'm saying.
That's my boy.
You got to look at Jordan Mailata. You got to look at Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson is the most underrated 99 overall player in Madden. We were in Philly. I got an opportunity to watch these dancing bears rip around. I'm talking about poetry in motion, boys. This is one of those things where you're
if he goes for
my
a
God.
$150,
$151.
just put the cameras on Jerry post game. Just
That's
it's what he wants.
We talk about Dallas and Eagles. What I'm most looking forward to in this game is the chaos that ensues on the internet, the camera shots that go up to Jerry Jones, the documentaries out there. That's what I'm personally excited about.
Dude, Jerry Jones is a guy that he loves. All publicity is good publicity, good or bad. Like, if you can go and rent out an office space and also watch the Dallas Cowboys practice, you know what he's doing. There's a reason why he's one of the greatest businessmen of all time. If Saquon wants for 151, he'll be like, excellent. This is exactly what I need.
very George Burns.
More on this game.
Two things we can count on tonight. Saquon Barkley is going to get a lot of airtime, and so is Jerry Jones.
Yeah, the cutaways to the box.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to those. There will be much more on this game as we go. We'll also look ahead to the matchup of the